Women's singles at the Winter Games stands as a titan of athletic spectacle defining the very heart of the sport. Through an electric connection with the crowd, these athletes etch their names into history, their legacies enduring long after the blades stop carving the ice. This narrative spans over 100 years of artistic warfare, examining the legends who defined the sport to answer the ultimate question: who stands alone as the greatest female figure skater of all time. The saga begins with Madge Syers, the inaugural victor of the original 2 World Championships and the pioneer who claimed the first Olympic gold for women. Beyond her dual British titles, her most audacious achievement occurred earlier. 4 years prior to the existence of a women's division in 1902, she fearlessly entered the all-male World Championship and walked away with the silver medal. Critics argued she deserved the crown, a sentiment shared by the victor Ulrich Salchow, who reportedly offered her his own gold medal in recognition of her superior skill. Yet the moment transcended mere hardware. That bold act sowed the seeds of revolution. By 1906, a separate World Championship for women emerged, albeit at a different venue than the men's, where Syers captured the first 2 titles and the Olympic crown. She further cemented her status as one of only 3 skaters in history to claim Olympic medal across multiple disciplines, securing a bronze in pairs alongside her husband. Madge Syers was the original revolutionary. The modern era of the sport traces its very heartbeat back to her. Attention then shifts to Herma Sabo, a titan, with 5 world titles, 5 Austrian Championships Olympic gold, and 2 additional world pairs titles to her name. She stands alone in history with the unique distinction of holding both the ladies and pairs world titles simultaneously. Yet her dominance concluded abruptly. Upon receiving her first and only silver medal at the World Championships, she walked away from the sport forever. The catalyst was a judging controversy, foreshadowing a recurring theme in the annals of figure skating. The competition in Oslo saw a panel stacked with 3 Norwegian judges who predictably tipped the scales 3-2 in favor of their home country compatriot. Despite the scandal, the sport stood on the precipice of a permanent transformation. The world was about to witness the arrival of its first true global phenomenon and international superstar. Sonja Henie would amass a staggering 10 world titles and claim the Olympic throne 3 separate times. Her trophy case included 6 European crowns and 7 Norwegian national championships. As the sport's first crossover icon, she propelled skating into the mainstream through touring shows and a filmography boasting 15 features. She was the architect of modern skating aesthetics. The iconic white boots. That was Sonja Henie. Does the coach wear beige? Henie initiated that trend as well when the white boots became ubiquitous. The short theatrical costumes. Entirely Henie. She established figure skating as the crown jewel of the Winter Games, infusing the sport with dance choreography and emotional musicality that remain the standard today. It is impossible to overstate the magnitude of her influence within the constraints of this retrospective. She forged the sport's identity, and there will likely never be another force of nature quite like Sonja Henie. Barbara Ann Scott would capture 2 world titles, 4 Canadian championships, and become the first North American skater in history to seize Olympic gold. Following in Henie's wake, this triumph anointed Scott as Canada's sweetheart, elevating her to the status of a major celebrity. Scott proved that a skater's appeal could endure, and her ascent arrived at a pivotal moment in history. World War II had forced the cancellation of the World Championships for 6 consecutive years. Her emergence as a bona fide superstar during the aftermath lifted a nation's spirits and set the stage for the next evolution. Tenley Albright then surged forward, claiming 2 world titles, 5 national crowns, and Olympic gold, becoming the first American woman to hold both the Olympic and world titles. This victory ignited what would effectively become an American dynasty in the sport. The shift was driven by a de-emphasis on compulsory figures in favor of free skating, a trajectory that would ultimately lead to the complete elimination of figures by the 1990s. At this juncture, the sport reached a zenith. The Henie effect came to fruition as a generation raised on the Hollywood glamour of Sonja Henie and the grace of Barbara Ann Scott rose to battle for world dominance. Carol Heiss dominated the era, securing 5 world titles, 4 national championships, and the coveted Olympic gold medal. She shattered barriers as the first woman to successfully land a double axel in competition. Uniquely, she possessed the rare ability to jump and spin in opposite rotational directions, weaving both techniques seamlessly into her programs. A powerhouse on the ice, she later married fellow Olympic champion Heiss Allen Jenkins, forming what many consider the sport's original power couple. Their union was a match of undisputed royalty. Crucially, Heiss revolutionized the technical landscape of women's skating, initiating a push for athleticism that defined the era. The future appeared luminous for the Americans until unimaginable tragedy struck in 1961. On February 15th, Sabena Flight 548 went down, claiming the lives of the entire United States figure skating team in a single devastating moment. The cancellation of the 1961 World Championships marked a seismic rupture in the sport. It was the moment everything changed. While the full story demands its own stage, the documentary Rise is essential viewing. It stands as the definitive tribute, capturing the crushing weight of the sorrow and the absolute despair that gripped the nation. The tragedy rewrote the future of figure skating. In the aftermath, coaching titans like John Nix and Carlo Fassi migrated to the United States, tasked with resurrecting the American program from the ground up. Frank Carroll, a protege of the fallen Maribel Vinson. Owen honored her legacy by dedicating his life to coaching the next generation. Officials predicted a 4-year recovery timeline for the United States to regain competitive footing after losing its entire team. They were optimistic. The void left by those athletes and coaches would haunt the skating community for decades. When the World Championships resumed in 1962, Sjoeke Dijkstra stormed the scene. She became a juggernaut, claiming 3 world titles, 5 European crowns, and Olympic gold. Dijkstra was a powerhouse on the ice. She dominated with sheer athletic force, expanding the technical boundaries set by Carol Heiss with massive double axels and explosive jumps. In her prime, she was nothing short of a marvel. Then came Peggy Fleming. With 3 world titles and Olympic gold, she single-handedly restored the United States to the pinnacle of global dominance. She is credited with redefining the sport's artistic soul, parlaying her competitive success into a legendary career in show business. Fleming bore the personal scars of the Sabena disaster more than most. Her own coach William Kipp perished in the crash. Under the subsequent guidance of Carlo Fassi, she turned grief into greatness. Her unique blend of artistry and athleticism captivated the world, signaling loud and clear American figure skating had returned. Beatrix Trixie Schuber reigned as the queen of compulsory figures. A 2-time world and Olympic champion, her technical precision remains unrivaled. Yet her legacy came with a controversy that altered history. Her Olympic victory stands as one of the sport's most debated moments. Schuber built such an insurmountable lead in figures that she secured Olympic gold despite placing 7th in the free skate. The backlash forced the International Skating Union to rewrite the rulebook. Janet Lynn was the American answer. A 5-time national champion, she was widely hailed as the supreme free skater of her era. She fused lyrical beauty with technical precision, spellbinding audiences with an effortless grace on the ice. The short program was introduced largely to level the playing field for skaters like her. Judges enamored by her style frequently awarded her perfect 6.0s. Her legend was sealed at the 1972 Sapporo Games. She fell, yet rose with a radiant smile to finish a flawless program. Even with the era, judges awarded her perfect scores for artistic impression. It remains a singular phenomenon in skating history, perfection recognized amidst a fall. Her impact transcended competition. Dick Button founded the World Professional Figure Skating Championships specifically to showcase her talent. She became the highest-paid skater on the planet. However, her professional flame burned briefly, and she retired after a mere 3 years. Later, she returned to partner with the legendary John Curry. Together, they crafted The Snow Queen, a masterpiece of ice theatre. This production showcased the lyrical genius of both Lynn and Curry, blending ballet and skating in a performance that remains iconic. For any student of the sport, it is essential viewing a glimpse into skating's artistic peak. When asked to name the greatest female skater in history, the legendary Frank Carroll did not hesitate. His verdict, Janet Lynn. Karen Magnuson, a Canadian icon, also capitalized on the new era. A world champion and Olympic silver medalist, she thrived with the introduction of the short program. Known for power and consistency, she attacked the ice with a unique flair, adding signature twists to standard elements. After a 4-year stint with the Ice Capades, she transitioned to the other side of the boards, building a coaching legacy across North America. Dorothy Hamill, 3-time national champion, world champion, Olympic gold medalist. She was an innovator, creating the Hamill Camel and revolutionizing the sight spin. But she was more than an athlete. She was a cultural phenomenon. Her wedge haircut defined the 70s, copied by women across the nation. Hamill was America's sweetheart. Her appeal was universal, making her one of the most beloved figures in sports history. Her star power fueled one of the longest show careers on record. From television specials to Dancing with the Stars, she remained a fixture in the spotlight long after her competitive retirement. Hamill proved that a skater could forge a lifelong bond with the public, setting the blueprint for the modern era of skating stardom. Linda Fratian captured 4 United States titles, 2 world championships, and the Olympic silver medal. History credits her with cementing the necessity of triple jumps in women's programs. She also revolutionized the aesthetic by popularizing sequined costumes, a dazzling trend that dominates the ice to this day. Her scores at the Games triggered a revision of the judging system to reduce the weight of school figures, a shift that immediately affected her contemporaries. Skaters like Denise Bielman found themselves in similar high-stakes battles, fighting to recover ground after the compulsory figures segment. Fratian later embarked on a legendary professional run, headlining Disney on Ice for a full decade. She remained a pillar of the community for years, dedicating her life to touring and coaching the next generation. For coaches in Los Angeles, working alongside her was widely considered a career-defining privilege. With an innate ability to connect with every spectator, she remains one of the most iconic figures in the sports pantheon. Annette Putsch stood as a titan, 5-time East German victor, 4-time European ruler, and owner of 2 world titles. In 1980, she claimed Olympic gold over Fratian, a result that sparked immediate and lasting controversy. Analysts note her superior command of school figures provided an insurmountable lead, a common defense against allegations of judging bias. Regardless, the 1980 Games signaled a definitive turning point in the sport's timeline. The era of the American dynasty was fading, making way for the rise of an East German empire. Enter Katharina Witt, who would claim 8 national titles and 6 consecutive European crowns, matching the legendary Sonja Henie alongside 4 world championships. She secured 2 Olympic gold medals, carving out a singular place in history. Beyond her technical mastery, she starred in the legendary Battle of the Carmens against American rival Debbie Thomas, who had seized the world title 2 years prior. Witt leveraged her fame into a massive professional career, headlining tours like Stars on Ice. She transcended the rink, building a legacy in film and television while endearing herself to global audiences. A bona fide superstar, she shattered the delicate ice princess stereotype. By presenting a mature, powerful image, she fundamentally altered the public perception of what a female skater could represent. The final legend in this chapter is Midori Ito, a 9-time Japanese national champion and world title holder with 9 Grand Prix victories. Yet her legacy rests on a singular gravity-defying achievement. She became the first woman to land a triple axel in competition, a feat so rare it remains elusive even in the modern era, marking her as a true revolutionary. 1990 brought the most radical shift in history, the total elimination of compulsory figures from competition. Removing the figure from figure skating remains perhaps the most contentious decision ever made by the governing body. Undeniably, the era combining figures and free skating stands as a golden age of fascinating duality. The sport evolved from the singular identity of Sonja Henie to athletes landing double axels under pressure. Pioneers like Canada's Petra Burka introduced triple jumps, while Janet Lynn expanded artistic horizons. The short program arrived, triple jumps became standard, and finally Ito's triple axel shattered the ceiling. This period represents the most explosive growth curve the sport has ever seen. Kristi Yamaguchi reigned as U.S. champion, dual world gold medalist, and pairs title holder with Rudy Galindo before seizing Olympic gold in 1992. This victory inaugurated a new era judged solely on the short and long programs. Yamaguchi ascended to icon status, enjoying a multi-decade show career and enduring pop culture relevance, immortalized even as a Barbie. As one of the most recognizable female athletes in American history, her legacy is secure. In debates among coaching elites regarding the greatest of all time, her name consistently leads the conversation. Oksana Byle captured 2 Ukrainian titles, the World Championship and Olympic gold at the chaotic 1994 Games. While the media storm raged around her rivals, Byle clarified something else entirely on the ice. Her fusion of balletic grace and emotional projection mesmerized the world. That sheer charisma allowed her to steal the hearts of judges and spectators alike. A national hero, she delivered independent Ukraine its first Olympic gold medal. Her career extended into a long professional run, maintaining a constant presence in the media spotlight. This dawned the age of the superstar, where for 6 years, the world crown rotated to a new queen annually. Legends rose: Japan's Yuka Sato and China's Chen Lu, a 10-time national champion and double Olympic bronze medalist. Yet perhaps the most electrifying was Surya Bonali, 9-time French champion, 5-time European master, and 3-time world silver medalist. One of the most controversial moments unfolded when she refused the silver medal. Convinced the gold was rightfully hers, a defiant stance that sparked a debate still raging across the internet today. She returned for one final Olympic run, delivering a sequence etched into the sports lore: a forbidden backflip in her free skate, a parting shot to the judges, and a permanent statement on her own terms. Yet Surya Bonali commanded an undeniable cult following that transcended competition and fueled a massive professional career. She racked up victories on the professional circuit, cementing her status as one of the most recognizable icons to ever take the ice. The sport was entering a renaissance, a golden era, teeming with unique personalities, capable of leaving distinct marks on history and capturing the imagination of a global audience. But the world was unprepared for the dominance that followed. Michelle Kwan would capture 9 national titles, 8 of them consecutive. She claimed 5 world championships and secured a total of 9 career medals at the highest level. A Grand Prix final champion, she also seized both silver and bronze on the Olympic stage. Michelle became the most decorated female skater in United States history and amassed the highest world medal count since Sonja Henie. Her 5 world crowns tied her for second all-time, and she received 57 perfect 6.0 marks, a record unequaled in history. A model of consistency, she fused technical precision with an artistic connection reminiscent of the legendary Janet Lin. This clutch ability first stunned the world in 1996 when she dethroned Chen Lu to capture the world championship. The reigning champion had just posted 2 perfect 6.0s, setting an impossible bar. Yet Kwan responded with Salome, an iconic performance that won over the panel and the crowd, securing the gold. But her legend was truly forged at the 1998 United States Nationals with Lyra Angelica, where she earned nearly straight perfect 6s in what many consider the single greatest performance the sport has ever seen. Her power to command unparalleled viewership and deliver under pressure made her an American sports titan and a global superstar, creating a ripple effect that inspired countless others to lace up their skates. To witness Michelle compete was to see the sport transformed. The atmosphere shifted the moment she took the ice. Television captured the skill, but the live experience revealed her true gift: the ability to reach every single person in the arena. With speed, power, and intricate edgework, she was absolutely mesmerizing, leaving spectators with the undeniable feeling that they had just witnessed greatness deserving of every accolade. Her longevity and clutch performance created a gravitational pull that defined the entire era. This legacy was sharpened by 3 distinct rivalries, beginning with her American teammate, Tara Lipinski. Lipinski swept the national world and Olympic titles in 1998 in Nagano. She became the youngest history maker to hold all 3 crowns, a record likely locked forever due to modern age restrictions. While Kwan was the master of lyricism, Lipinski was a technical dynamo, executing triple-triple combinations that dazzled judges with sheer athletic difficulty. Yet her connection with the crowd was often underrated. She projected an infectious joy that invited the audience along for the ride. It created an emotional momentum that propelled her to gold in Nagano with the performance of a lifetime. Today, her influence continues as a premier analyst alongside Johnny Weir, forming a broadcasting duo that brings high-level visibility to the modern generation. Then came Irina Slutskaya, a 2-time world champion, 7-time European champion, four-time Grand Prix winner and a multi-time Olympic medalist who dominated the Russian scene. Without Michelle Kwan, history would likely remember Slutskaya as a five-time world champion. Her consistency was remarkably long-lived, and she holds the distinction of excelling under both the old 6.0 system and the modern scoring era, setting 11 world records along the way. As the second Russian woman to claim the world title, she stands as arguably the greatest female skater in her nation's history. Finally, Sasha Cohen, a national champion and Olympic silver medalist known for her brilliant potential. She defined herself through dazzling athleticism blending contortionist flexibility with beautiful lines and rapid spins. A legitimate threat for gold in every event, she was occasionally hampered by consistency issues that kept her from the top of the podium. Nevertheless, her stunning presence transitioned into an iconic show career, securing her place as a true legend of the ice. Following the judging scandal in Salt Lake City in 2002 that shook the sport to its core, the international judging system was implemented, becoming the absolute law of the ice by 2006. Shizuka Arakawa emerged as the first titan of this new era, capturing the world title and delivering a gold medal masterpiece in Turin. Critics lauded Arakawa for a fortress-like technique that offered judges virtually no grounds for deduction. A complete technician, she immortalized the Ina Bauer bending back with a flexibility that captivated the entire nation of Japan. Like the legends before her, she transitioned into a celebrated professional show career. She remains a towering cultural icon in her homeland, transcending the boundaries of the rink. Carolina Kostner stands as a European giant, a 9-time national victor, 5-time continental queen, and Olympic bronze medalist. As the most decorated skater in European history, she spellbound crowds by fusing athletic precision with deep artistry under the strict IJS code. Then came Mao Asada, a 3-time world ruler and 4-time Grand Prix final champion. She shattered glass ceilings as the Olympic silver medalist and the first woman to land 3 triple axels in a single event. Asada possessed a rare, multifaceted mastery over the discipline that set her apart. With explosive jumps, elite spins, and intricate choreography, she enjoyed a career defined by longevity and global acclaim. She rewrote the record books, securing the second highest number of Grand Prix wins in the history of the division. For many analysts, Asada represents the absolute pinnacle of figure skating artistry. Her programs displayed a seamless integration of technical rigor and creative genius. Years later, observers still uncover new layers of nuance within her performances. Yet greatness demands opposition, and Asada faced the fiercest rival the sport has ever known. Yuna Kim stormed the stage, seizing 2 world titles and Olympic gold in a career that redefined perfection. In a display of unmatched consistency, she never finished off the podium in any major competition she entered. Known globally as Queen Yuna, her legend was cemented in Vancouver in 2010. There, she skated 2 flawless programs, radiating a charisma that held the world in a trance. Her silver medal in Sochi 4 years later remains one of the most hotly debated outcomes in sports history. While the scoring controversy endures, Yuna Kim's legacy is untouchable. She transformed the sport far beyond career, inspiring a generation of young athletes to chase excellence. During her reign, Yuna Kim was the undisputed benchmark for aspiring skaters everywhere. She was the absolute definition of an icon, captivating the world by fusing lethal technical precision with breathtaking elegance on the ice. It marked the dawn of a new dynasty, an era where Japan and Korea would ruthlessly claim 7 of the next 8 world championship titles. But the winds were shifting, signaling the rise of a ruthless new dynasty from Russia. The Russian squad would capture 5 of the next 6 world championships and 3 consecutive Olympic golds. The torch passed from Sotnikova to Tuktamisheva, laying the groundwork for a new empire. Medvedeva, Zagitova, and Shcherbakova followed, each adding to an unprecedented trophy case. Only Canada's Caitlin Osmond managed to breach this fortress, stealing a world title and Olympic bronze. This revolution pushed the sport into an aerial arms race, making multiple quadruple jumps the new standard. Regardless of perspective on this evolution, these athletes stand as undeniable pillars of the sport. They established a new gold standard for Russian dominance. Even non-champions like Lipnitskaya and Trusova left indelible marks on the ice. Their technical brilliance commanded universal attention from the global skating community. This powerhouse program continues to loom large over every upcoming Winter Games. Finally, the spotlight turns to Kaori Sakamoto, the three-time world champion and Olympic bronze medalist. With her story still unfolding, a hat trick of world titles already guarantees her place in history. All eyes now look to her next Olympic bid to see where she ranks among the immortals. After a century of competition, one question remains: who is the greatest of all time? History points to one definitive answer: Sonja Henie. From the white boots to the very DNA of the sport, she remains the architect of modern figure skating. The impact is immeasurable, a competitive record unlikely to ever be equaled. While the sport was a completely different beast in those days, and modern sensibilities have shifted with the relentless march of time, the objective remains the same: to honor the giants upon whose shoulders the sport now stands. As with the previous analysis, two more legends must be anointed from the golden age of figures and free skating and the subsequent modern era. From the second era, Katarina Witt presents the most formidable case. With 2 Olympic gold medals, 4 world championships, and a level of stardom that crossed into film and television, her resume commands respect. However, a deep dive into the archives reveals a shifting perspective on where true greatness lies. Janet Lin emerges not just as a competitor, but as a revelation, arguably the most influential figure to ever lace up skates during that generation. When the history is written, the evidence points to her as the definitive answer for that era. Lin's legacy is best understood by observing the sport's evolution, seeing how her influence still echoes in the struggle to balance technical precision with the soul of artistry. Now the narrative turns to the most grueling debate of all: who stands as the greatest modern skater in history. After exhaustive deliberation, analyzing the tapes, recalling the electricity within the arenas, and consulting the sport's inner circle, the title of modern greatest of all time belongs to Michelle Kwan. It was her longevity fused with a visceral connection to the audience that ultimately tipped the scales in her favor. She did not merely hold the title of queen. She reigned supreme for nearly a decade with a consistency that became clockwork. Season after season, when Michelle Kwan took the ice, the world knew they were witnessing not just a performance, but a potential masterpiece. The sheer volume of her competitive record provided endless opportunities to witness her command. While segregating the timeline between the 6.0 and IJS eras might simplify the verdict, the hard truth forces a choice between two sovereigns of their respective domains, Michelle and Yuna. This conclusion will undoubtedly spark more division than the debate over the men, yet the question demands an answer from the public. Does the crown belong to Michelle to Yuna, or does a phantom contender deserve the throne, one overlooked in this analysis? The history books are filled with worthy champions, and no choice is without merit. Appreciation goes to those witnessing this ongoing chronicle. The saga continues, fueled by the voice of the community, with the next chapter already taking shape. The spotlight may soon turn to the uncrowned kings who never claimed Olympic gold, the pure artists of the ice, or the masterminds behind the boards. The debate remains open. Let the world know who reigns supreme until the next broadcast.